I want to tell you something about my grandmother. She passed 4 years ago, and honestly, not a week goes by where something doesn't remind me of her. She was the kind of woman who didn't say much. In a family full of loud people, she was always just quietly there. When I was younger, I used to think she was just shy, or maybe didn't have much to say. It took me until my late 20s to realize she was the smartest person in every room she ever walked into. I remember one specific afternoon. I was maybe 19, had just had this massive argument with my dad about my future, what I was doing with my life, the usual stuff. I was furious. Went and sat with her in her kitchen because her kitchen always felt safe somehow. She made tea without asking if I wanted any, just put a cup in front of me and sat down across the table. I started ranting, telling her everything, how unfair it was, how nobody understood me, how I had it all figured out and nobody would listen. She just sat there, hands around her cup, looking at me calmly, letting me talk. When I finally ran out of things to say, she was quiet for a long moment. Then she said just one thing. She said, "The loudest person in the argument is usually the one who knows the least." I opened my mouth to respond and then just closed it, because I realized mid-breath that I had just been the loudest person in every argument for as long as I could remember. She didn't say it to hurt me. She said it the way she said everything, quietly, like she was just observing the weather. Over the years, I watched her do this in every situation. Family dinners that turned into debates, disagreements between relatives, tense moments that could have gone sideways. She never raised her voice, not once that I ever saw. And somehow she was always the one people listened to when she finally spoke. About a month before she passed, I sat with her and asked her how she always stayed so calm, how she never let things get to her. She thought about it for a moment. Then she said, "I got angry plenty. I just learned a long time ago that my anger was my business, not everybody else's entertainment." I think about that line more than almost anything anyone has ever said to me. What my grandmother practiced without ever calling it anything is what researchers now refer to as emotional discretion. Studies on interpersonal influence consistently show that individuals who regulate emotional expression in high-tension situations are perceived as significantly more trustworthy and credible by others. Not because they feel less, but because they choose carefully what they show and when. My grandmother felt everything. She just decided what deserved her voice and what didn't. Most of us give our voice to everything and wonder why nobody really listens. She taught me that silence isn't weakness. It isn't having nothing to say. It's knowing that not everything deserves a response. Tonight, think about the last time you spoke when you should have just listened. We all have one. Good night, and thank you, Grandma.